Connections and companionship provide emotional support, shared experiences, and opportunities for mutual growth of individuals. They also create a space for trust, understanding, and a sense of bonding, making it easier for facing challenges and enhance the joy of life. Join us today as we discuss these important topics and understand that how building a strong, meaningful relationship can make a profound difference and enrich the lives, especially those with disabilities. Hello, I'm Sushma Tripathi, and I welcome you all to the 140th session of Talk to the Expert series, where we are going to discuss about companionship for young adults and persons with disability. To make this session accessible for all, we have Ms. Tejal Patwari with us from our accessible partner, Association of Sign Language Interpreter. Tejal is an ISL interpreter with a passion for bridging communication gap. She specializes in Indian Sign Language interpretation, helping to ensure effective communication in diverse setups. Welcome, Tejal. So, moving ahead, our guest today is Mr. Danish Mahajan. He is the founder of Radio Udan, the first ever internet community radio station in India that has been run by people with visual disabilities. So far, we have the privilege to collaborate with Danish on various occasions to take the voices to more and more people in regional languages. He is a motivational speaker, disability right activist, and an inclusion champion. He is here to share his journey, his insights, which will definitely add to our collective understanding about companionship and relationships. We also have the force behind the musical sensation Ritvik Rajan, who has graced all our musical extravaganzas so far. We have Rajan sir and Snehlata ma'am with us. Mr. Rajan Mallapuram, hailing from a small town in Kerala, climbed the ranks to become the Chief Postmaster General of Karnataka Circle. He is a certified master practitioner in LLP. He is known for his expertise in transformational leadership and serves as a coach and mentor for startups and large organizations. Snehlata ma'am is a strong-willed and a positive individual, and we have seen her grit and determination in all the interactions we had with her. Despite Ritvik's visual and cognitive impairments, she has always encouraged him to pursue his passion for music and stood by him like a strong support. The dedication with which Rajan sir and Snehlata ma'am have groomed Ritvik and celebrate him is truly inspiring and commendable. I welcome you all to this session. Thank you so much for joining, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we'll quickly go ahead with the session. And my first question is to you, Danish. Danish, आपने कई बारी inclusion and person with disability से जुड़े बहुत सारे factors के बारे में बात करी. पर आज हम जानना चाहेंगे कि आपकी अपनी personal journey रिश्तों और रिश्तों को जोड़ने के तरीके में किस तरीके से बदली और किस तरीके से सफल हुई.
Thank you, Shishma ji. Thank you, Spectrum team, Shwali ma'am, and good evening to all the fellow panelists and happy Friendship Day, जो आज का थीम है. देखिए, I got blind when I was 14. 14 साल का था मैं और I मैं आई बिलोंग टू ए रिमोट विलेज, तो यहाँ डिसेबिलिटी को लेके कोई नॉलेज थी नहीं, मैं कई बार ये बता चुका हूँ।
Yeah.
तो एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ दैट आई स्पेंट माई 4 years वेरी मिजरेबली। आई वॉज कन्फाइंड टू 4 walls। तो उस टाइम पे आई वॉज क्वाइट यंग, जो मेरे सारे दोस्त थे वो खेलने चले जाते थे, मैं अकेला रह जाता था घर पे। तो सिचुएशन वाज वेरी बैड। इंटरनेट तब था नहीं इतना एक्टिव 2002 में। और उस दौरान 4 साल जब वो पीरियड था फ्रॉम रिकवरी टू डिस्कवरी, उसमें मैंने ये रियलाइज किया कि घर बैठ के बात बनेगी नहीं, आई नीड टू स्टेप आउट। तो मेरी एक दुकान थी हमारी, तो आई स्टार्टेड गोइंग टू माई शॉप। और बहुत सारी जो मेरी मिसकंसेप्शंस थी, पता नहीं दे विल मॉक एट मी, whether they will talk to me, whether they will include me in the conversation or not. So most of the things got vanished when I went to my shop. I thoroughly enjoyed that particular day. To my surprise, किसी ने मेरे साथ डिसेबिलिटी की बात की नहीं उस दिन। एंड मैंने जो जो सोचा था, यार बाहर निकलूंगा कोई मुझे दे विल यूज डिफरेंट टर्मिनोलॉजी टू कॉल मी, और गांव में जनरली होता है ऐसा। और वो कई तरह के सवाल पूछेंगे, फिर वो बोलेंगे तुम्हारे यार तुमने पिछले जन्म में कुछ गलत किया होगा, पाप किए होंगे, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला, जो एक नोशन चलता है। बट मुझे उस दिन ये रियलाइज हुआ कि दुनिया उतनी बुरी नहीं है जितनी हम समझते हैं। अगर 5 लोग दे डिसएग्री विद यू, जब वो आपको मॉक करते हैं, एट द सेम टाइम 5 लोग ऐसे भी हैं, those who want to talk to you, those who want to include you। तो वो एक बड़ा मोटिवेटिंग दिन था मेरी लाइफ में। और उसके बाद मैंने पीछे नहीं देखा। और एक चीज मैंने और समझी जब मैं आई वाज इंटरेक्टिंग टू अदर्स। सो वन थिंग, सी, कंपेनियनशिप इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर पर्सन्स विद डिसेबिलिटीज। लेकिन उसके लिए हमें भी थोड़ा बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा। वी कैन नॉट एक्सपेक्ट ऑल द टाइम कि भाई कोई हमारे साथ फ्रेंडशिप का हाथ बढ़ाए। वी नीड टू बी वोकल, हम वी नीड टू टेक द ह्यूमर, हमें पार्टिसिपेट करना पड़ेगा। मतलब तो हर कन्वर्सेशन में अगर लोग मजाक करते हैं तो हमें भी थोड़ा सा वो सहना भी पड़ेगा। और 10 लोग आपको अलग अलग तरह के लोग मिलेंगे, तो आपको उस कन्वर्सेशन के लिए you need to be ready for that। and I am very fortunate, मेरे रिलेटिव्स में भी अभी तो मेरा लगभग 10,000 लोगों का एक फ्रेंड सर्कल है। तो बहुत बड़ा सर्कल है। और मेरे रिलेटिव्स भी उनमें भी कोई फंक्शन मेरे बिना नहीं होता है। एंड जो मेरी सिविल सोसाइटी है आउटसाइड द डिसेबिलिटी सेक्टर, वहां भी लगभग मैं अपने गांव की सभी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से जुड़ा हुआ हूँ। तो I think it's rewarding. It's really rewarding. That one day has changed my perception. And thanks to all the people who talked to me on that particular day, I think that motivated me a lot.
ब्यूटीफुल। आई थिंक आपने बहुत सही बात कही कि आप घर पे बैठ के या एक बंद कमरे में बैठ के इस किसी भी रिश्ते को आप आगे नहीं बढ़ा सकते, आप इंटरेक्शन नहीं कर सकते किसी से। आपको भी थोड़ा बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा, आपको लोगों से मिलना पड़ेगा। उन्हें आपको समझने की जितनी जरूरत है उतना हमें भी बाहर की किसी भी सेटअप में घुलने मिलने की जरूरत होती है। शायद एक रिलेशनशिप स्पेशली विद पीपल विद डिसेबिलिटी, इस केस में अ, वो एक पड़ाव पार करना बहुत जरूरी है, ताकि आगे चल के आप रिलेशनशिप्स, फ्रेंडशिप, कंपेनियनशिप, किसी भी चीज को एक्सपीरियंस कर सके। थैंक यू सो मच दानिश, आपकी ये इतनी इंस्पायरिंग जर्नी को इतने संक्षिप्त में बताने के लिए। I'll go back to Rajan sir and ma'am. Like you heard ma'am and sir now how Danish went from a situation of doubting and what is going on with him to coming out and interacting with people and then understanding how life is. you as a parent, how has been your experience as parents of a child with special needs?
Thank you, Sushma ji, and congratulations, Mr. Danish, for coming out and having such a vast friend circle. I would just give a base an introductory few sentences because right at the moment we are looking very intently at the relationship problems which Ritvik is facing, right? And he has been facing it for quite some time due to his cognitive impairment, and being a public performer, he has a lot of fans, but without much of communication. It is music which he uses for his communication, not the language. And so there are two aspects to this, while narrating our experiences. One is Lata will narrate the experiences as a mother, what she has seen in the children. We had two children, both visually challenged, and elder one passed away about 9 years back. And so a lot of traumatic experiences we have gone through. And so there is one thing where, the companionship for the children, right? The other is the companionship between the husband and the wife, right? So there are two aspects to it. And I would I'll request Lata to start with her, personal experiences. We have all been at the same event, but different experiences as husband and wife. Events were same, experiences were different. So I would like to look at from that perspective. Lata will first narrate a very few traumatic incidents, which we successful also, both traumatic and successful.
Positive side things that
Yeah.
we have seen.
Yeah. So over to Lata.
Yeah, thank you, Sushma, Danish, and everybody present here for including us in this companionship occasion. As you know, we are parents of two. We are parents of two children uh, who are visually impaired, and we lost our elder son 9 years back. So, the initial trauma that we faced when Roshan was born, it was like I was alone at that time. Rajan was away from me. So that was a very traumatic thing for me, which I cannot get over even till now. Though I try to, cover it up. Then came the question of Roshan's schooling because we couldn't find an appropriate school. So that was also very, very difficult phase of our life. And that was solved because we found a proper school. He went and he even completed his MA in English, and he secured a good job. And as far as companionship was concerned for him, because he went to a normal school, he had enough friends, and he got job at the appropriate time, and he got married, and he has a child who is in the 8th standard now. So his life was very well settled, but then we lost him. But as far as Ritvik was concerned, the challenges were far too many for us, right from teaching him how to eat. So he would never swallow food. So my first experience was, when I was just trying to figure out how I would make him chew because he would never chew. So I put my finger into his mouth, and I got a nice bite from him. So then I
And,
realized.
sorry to stop you, but can you come a little closer to the mic? I think there will be more.
Yeah.
Yeah. better.
So I was not sure whether he would be able to chew. So what I did was I put my finger into his mouth, and I got a nice bite. So though it was painful, I realized that it was a successful journey, starting of a successful journey. And then immediately I put a banana into his mouth, and then he started chewing the banana. So there onwards, the journey started. So right from chewing his food, and then I was not very sure whether he'll have friends, whether he'll be able to, successfully do any exams, pass, secure a job. A lot of issues were there which was troubling my mind. But then, with a lot of persistence, he finished his. He first exam that he appeared was a tabla exam. Then it was followed by many exams, and then I thought he has finished his Visharad in music, but I was just thinking how to, use his knowledge in a proper way where he could earn a living with that. So I became his student, and I used to, make mistakes. He used to correct me, and then I taught him to teach music. So now he successfully runs a music school. Of course, I'm there with him all the time. And another experience of mine was when he secured a job in the Delhi Public School as a music teacher. Unfortunately, we had to leave it after a stint of about 6 years. But even now, and one more thing I would like to add is, because though he has achieved so many things personally, but many times I feel that we have been unsuccessful in, providing him the required social setup, so gatherings and things like that. Because everywhere we went, it was like he had participated in many reality shows. So the producers used to say, why are you stuck to him always? Leave him alone with the other participants. So, I just thought, okay, let me take a chance. So I left him in a hall where all the other participants, because they're all singers, musicians. So it is his area of like. So I would put him there, and then I would go back after half an hour, and I would hear no sound at all. And I would see him sitting in one corner of the hall alone. And that brought tears into my eyes, because nobody, bothered to even hold his hand, leave alone hold his hand, at least bring him back to the place where he came from, at least bring him back and leave him to me.
Yeah.
Leave alone talking to him. So this kind of experiences followed one after the other. And then when he secured a job in DPS, I was very happy, because the setup was very good. And the teachers were also okay. But because of the busy schedule in the school, not much of a social interaction would happen. And so now what we have done is, the principal of the Delhi Public School, Mrs. Manju Balasubramaniam, she's such a wonderful person. And she said, I was telling her about this.
The video, I think, got froze. So we'll wait for them to get back. I think, what Snehlata ma'am has been sharing, and Rajan sir also mentioned that though they both are parents, they have their own perspectives, their own set of experiences, and that so much syncs with what Danish also shared here. That social interaction is so important and crucial for the whole, development and growth of a individual, especially who is person with disability, or as a young adult, or even a child. And that is, I think, one of those early stones where if we as a community, as somebody who is there present in that scenario, can just, we can step up and provide that comfort, become a companion. So yeah, they are back. I was just briefing everybody that what you mentioned. Yes, please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah.
Your unit point.
So, and I was mentioning to her that, he gets frustrated sometimes sitting at home. It happens to everybody, because he is growing up and he needs friends of his age, that kind of a thing. So any amount of input we give at home, it's not going to help him unless he is put in a real situation where he can interact with people. And since he is on the stage, many people approach him with so many questions. So we are not very sure whether he'll answer them properly. So I'll have to always stick by him. People always say, why are you stuck to him like this? Because sometimes very unpredictable answers come from him, and which is not actually expected of a person like him, who is a performer. So I was mentioning all this to Manju Balasubramaniam, ma'am, DPS principal. So she said, there is no problem. You can always walk into Delhi Public School and allow him to sit, because he has never been to a school. Use any services from the school, and he can interact with the students, because many students whom we have taught earlier are there still in the school. So he'll get a chance to talk to the teachers. He'll get a chance to talk to the students. And we are back to school now. So just for social interaction, I take him to the school for 2 or 3 days in a week. Excuse me. And then he attends 9th standard or 10th standard classes. And he's such a good student. He sits through the class quietly and comes back. So maybe this will help him. And hopefully he will be able to, improve his social communication, which we are really looking forward to.
I think, this is something which is so crucial, like you mentioned. Interaction can never have, in one hand. Like Danish also mentioned that, you have to step up and people also have to step in. So this is exactly what is happening here with Ritvik, and we are so happy to know that even that whole thought of interacting with people and having a friend circle and his own people, with him is something which is going to help him also and others as well. We have few viewers here. I'll just read out the comments. Archana Patil ma'am, Rashmi Sood, Neena Girish, they are watching and are very appreciative of Danish's journey and the way he highlighted that what is important to be done, what needs to be done as a solution, as a measure to make things work. And Vanishaka also agrees, listening to you all, that the trivial thing for others becomes a milestone for us parents as well. So she's thanking everybody for sharing their journey. Rajan, I would quickly, like to know your perspective here as well. And I'm sure that is, going to be another spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Uh, Actually, there are two, as I mentioned, when the first trauma came into our life, uh, Lata took a way, a path of positivity, of finding solutions for, and equipping the child for, managing his own life. And I got sort of entrenched in my career and my interests, my personal, my learning interests and things like that. And Lata let me do all that because she felt that because I'm basically more sensitive than her. And so she let me do what I wanted. So and I went the victim way. I considered myself as a victim, and God became my number one enemy for quite some time, right? And so we had, as I mentioned, we were witnesses to the same events but different experiences. And at the same time, I was feeling that I'm not doing enough for the family, right? And so it almost 3 decades I managed like that. I was very busy as a professional, and let me be busy as well. She will handle everything on her own. And I knew at the bottom of my heart that she's capable of handling it. She was much more capable than I was of handling the trauma and related requirements, of what a parent has to do. I was there just to support whichever way I could. Other than, I was not fully into it. Why I'm mentioning this is when we go to various programs and people come and ask as parents your experience, we share our experiences, and we find often that either the father or the mother are very keen on the child's development, and the other one is not. It's not that both the parents work together, right? So that is first thing which I realized. And when Ritvik and Lata, Lata was the teacher and Ritvik was the music. So together they made the music teacher. Uh, you know, Lata was the unpaid teacher and Ritvik was the paid teacher. And so in one of the annual day sessions, Ritvik sang a song, the autism anthem, and Lata gave a speech on motherhood. And in that speech, she mentioned that the both our boys and herself, they were 3 bodies and 1 soul. And that experience, that particular the sentence, it was just a pointer to me that I was not there in that circle. So post retirement, I made up my mind that I am going to come back, right? So I had to traverse the path of companionship a lot myself. Because as parents, whenever you have especially able children, one person, it's very difficult for one person to handle. If there are 4 hands, it's much better than 2 hands, having 2 hands. So it took a lot of time for me to, correct myself, change my approach, outlook, everything. And the person to certify that was my wife, Lata. She has to say that, yes, you have reached. About maybe 1 year back or 2 years back, she said,
I didn't set any targets for him.
she has not set any target. I set the target myself, right?
Mm.
And 2 years back, she told one day that you are now with us. So I think it is why I'm mentioning this is it's very essential for both the parents, as long as they are together, to complement each other in the in helping the specially able child. So that is one aspect. The second aspect is that the when we are apart from the the parents being together, we need to look at the child when the child develops that need for companionship, right? For example, in the case of Ritvik, we are not realized. I mean, he was not exhibiting that kind of a desire for any companionship because his developmental age was different, right?
Mm.
And so off late now we are finding, he's at a stage where he's thinking beyond the parents.
Yeah.
He's looking for somebody else other than parents. So that is apparently he's in his adolescent stage.
Right.
That's what we are thinking. And he has got a fantastic command on the English language vocabulary, grammar, but he often conceptually is lacking in many things. So we have been trying in many ways to add on to his conceptual knowledge. The very fundamental basic concepts are missing, which is the foundation of a dialogue with people. So when you don't know what to talk, he has a very limited baggage of things, few things he can talk about. People get disinterested.
Yes. Yeah.
So that is one thing we are now trying to see how he can be exposed to, because right in his childhood, early in his childhood, he was deprived of many, many experiences, which a normal child did, because he didn't go to the school. And we were a nuclear family, it's not a joint family also. So a lot of inputs he had missed. And he had so much of input of music that music became his basic language of communication.
But I think, how the way ma'am has explained right now, the way things are going, hoping that the whole interaction, social interaction or relationship thing would work out, for Ritvik, in the coming time. Here, I would also like to, ask Danish here, who has been patiently listening to the entire conversation. Danish, आपने बताया कि अगर आप घर से बाहर नहीं निकलेंगे, आप इंटरेक्ट नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है, आपको कुछ खुद से भी पहल करनी ही पड़ेगी। पर आप जब ये सारी बातें सुन रहे थे, आपको क्या लगता है कि एक कम्युनिटी का समावेशी होना, इंक्लूसिव होना, किस हद तक हमारे एडल्ट्स को या यंग बच्चों को सपोर्ट कर सकता है to build up a relationship, to find a companion for them, because which is like Rajan sir mentioned, that is the need, or that is what they're looking for right now. You have been actively talking about it, working on it, experiencing it in your personal life. आपका क्या कहना है इसके बारे में?
First of all, I think it is very inspiring to listen Rajan sir and Snehlata ma'am, and fortunately Ritvik got the best companions in his life. एक चीज मैं कहना चाहूंगा, see, I am a visually impaired and Ritvik is autistic. तो companionship और लोगों का attitude that varies disability to disability. That also we need to understand. The challenge a visually impaired person is facing in the companionship is totally different from a person who is autistic. So that audience needs to understand that we cannot pit one disability against other in similar fashion, because the challenges are totally different.
Danish, I would like, I'll just interrupt you. Ritvik is also having a visual and cognitive impairment. Yeah. So
Yes.
Yeah.
और दूसरी चीज, हमारी जो सोसाइटी है, बट सोसाइटी is not pretty much accepting for the persons with disabilities when it comes to friendship. Now, सोसाइटी कम्युनिटी का इंक्लूसिव होना तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज डिसेबिलिटी जो है, एवरीबडी हैज वन सॉर्ट ऑफ टेम्पररी डिसेबिलिटी किसी ना किसी तरह से. तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली जो हमारे यहाँ का एजुकेशनल सिस्टम रहा है, वो इस सदी में भी, सेंचुरी में भी, दे आर नॉट एबल टू अवेयर मेन स्ट्रीम पीपल टुवर्ड्स पर्सन्स विद डिसेबिलिटीज. हमारे एजुकेशन में बात की नहीं गई है इसकी. आज भी एटीट्यूड जो लोगों का है पर्सन्स विद डिसेबिलिटीज को लेके, वो बहुत अच्छा नहीं है. वही सेम पर्सन है जो आपको स्टेज पे सुनता है, he is very appreciative of your talent, the way I'm leading, but at the same time when I go to same person for a job or for any work, his attitude totally, his attitude is totally different. तो जब तक हमें किसी की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है, तब तक उसका एटीट्यूड बहुत अच्छा है पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटीज को लेकर. आप बड़ी बड़ी कॉर्पोरेट देख लो, they will talk about inclusiveness or blah blah on the stages, but when you will go to them, अगर किसी को इंडिविजुअल डिसेबिलिटी है तो वो पहले ही मना कर देगी, क्योंकि उनकी हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस की कॉस्ट बढ़ जाएगी. सो जो हिपोक्रेसी है ना लोगों में, इंडिया में पर्सन्स विद डिसेबिलिटीज को लेके, दैट नीड्स टू बी चेंज. पीपल आर नॉट ऑनेस्ट. और कई जगह पे जो कंपेनियनशिप की जब हम बात करते हैं, उसमें ये चीज है कि लोगों को ये लगता है कि किसी डिसेबल्ड के साथ रहना वो एक बर्डन बन जाएगा उनके ऊपर. अगर उसको कल सपोज मैं गया हूं अपने दोस्तों के साथ, अगर मुझे कहीं चोट लग गई तो वो डर जाएंगे कि यार इनके घर वाले तो हमें मार देंगे, अब कुछ हो ना जाए. दूसरी चीज, क्या ये फाइनेंशियली कंट्रीब्यूट कर पाएगा? दैट्स अनदर थिंग, कि भाई अब हर चीज की कॉस्ट है. हम कहीं जा रहे हैं, अगर ये जाएगा तो क्या ये कंट्रीब्यूट करेगा या कितना करेगा? ये लोगों का एक फियर है. फैमिली की ओवर प्रोटेक्टिवनेस एक फियर है. और तीसरी जो सबसे बड़ी चीज है कि उनकी जो लैक ऑफ अवेयरनेस है डिसेबिलिटी को लेके, क्योंकि वो नहीं समझते हैं. और इंडिया में ज्यादातर लोग डिसेबिलिटी पे बात नहीं करना चाहते. I am very active on Clubhouse. Okay, I have a lot of mainstream people friends. They will talk all sort of rubbish things there and laugh. But the time I will kickstart the conversation on disability, the panel will be empty out. They don't have interest. So we need to understand what. तो same चीज I understood कि भाई अगर इनके साथ रहना है तो I need to I need to do things what they like, what their interest. I need to walk with them. तो I did same. अब जब मैं पहले शादियों में जाता था, तो जैसे स्नेहलता मैम ने कहा कि वो कहते थे यार तू यहाँ पे बैठ जा और हम तेरे को खाने के लिए सारी चीजें ला देंगे. और वो 80% of the time I used to sit alone in the wedding function, and I started avoiding it. It became very frustrated for me. Then after a point I realized I need to participate. ऐसे बात बनेगी नहीं. तो I started going on the DJ, I started dancing, I started taking part in the political debates and the conversations. तो मुझे मतलब कहने का भाव ये है कि हमें समझना पड़ेगा. अगर सामने वाला नहीं समझ रहा तो पहले हमें समझना पड़ेगा एक टाइम के लिए कि सामने वाले की क्या कन्वर्सेशन है. आई आस्क माय फ्रेंड, सी इफ एनीथिंग हैपेंस टू मी, that I will be totally responsible. I told my family, dare not to complain their parents or anyone, because I persuaded them the consequences of consequences of that particular event will be that they will never take me along with them. So please let me manage the way I want. तो ये चीजें हैं, लेकिन अगेन ये सभी डिसेबिलिटीज में नहीं हो सकता. इफ द पर्सन इज हैविंग हीमोफीलिया, तो उनके पेरेंट्स को ये रहेगी टेंशन कि ये बाहर खेल रहा है, कहीं गिर ना जाए. तो अगर वो गिर गया तो उसका जो ब्लड डिसऑर्डर है वो प्रॉब्लमेटिक हो जाएगा. तो ये सभी डिसेबिलिटीज के डिफरेंट चैलेंजेस है, लेकिन सोसाइटी ऑन द ब्रॉडर पॉइंट, मैं सोसाइटी को इस ओकेजन में यही कहना चाहता हूँ कि यार, हर डिसेबिलिटी वाले जो हैं, दे हैव अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स टू गिव यू बैक. एटलीस्ट स्टार्ट द कन्वर्सेशन. और थैंकफुली अब जो सोशल मीडिया में भी हम इंटरेक्ट कर सकते हैं, सोशल गैदरिंग्स को अटेंड करना और इवेंट्स में पार्टिसिपेट करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. वो कोई भी डिसेबल्ड हो, जब तक हम निकलेंगे नहीं, मिलेंगे नहीं सबसे, तब तक हमें ना तो उनके बारे में समझ आएगी, ना उनको हमारे बारे में समझ आएगी. आई थिंक दैट्स ऑल.
थैंक यू सो मच दानिश, वेरी राइटली सेड. हमारे लिसनर्स जो हैं, अर्चना मैम, वानी अक्का, रश्मि सूद, नीना, दे ऑल अग्री टू व्हाट दानिश has shared, and they really vouch for it, like what you said, ki interactions is always two-way dialogue, and awareness is something which where the lack, or like we have mentioned earlier, that is a missing puzzle. So this in they are more aware, they will be more empathetic, there will be more acceptance in the society and in the community as well. But खुद को भी थोड़ी सी पहल करनी ही पड़ेगी. एंड यस, लाइक यू मेंशन, इट्स काइंड ऑफ अ डिस्क्लेमर आल्सो कि हर डिसेबिलिटी के लिए द वे सोशल इंटरेक्शन, द वे रिलेशनशिप विल ब्लूम is completely different. It's because whatever condition you have, it somewhere also has to be taken care of, like you mentioned. So thank you so much, Danish, for highlighting these things from your own experiences, because कई बार ये होता है कि हम सिर्फ सोच रहे होते हैं चीजों के बारे में, बट लाइक यू मेंशन, दीज आर द रियल टाइम इंसिडेंट्स व्हिच हैज हैपेंड, एंड दिस इज हाउ यू हैव टेकन इट. So kudos to you, Danish. To you, Snehlata ma'am and sir, I would like...
Sushma ji, I mean, I just want to raise one fundamental question. You look at any person's allocation of time as a resource. The time that is allocated for interaction and relationships is getting diminished day by day. People are getting entrenched in their mobiles. And youngsters are not interested in talking to, even they are not even interested in companionship often. Games and mobiles. Now this is a time where the trend is on the reverse. It is not encouraging social communication at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And in such a situation, this message has to go strongly that it is a relationship which is more important than any other skill.
Yeah.
That is not happening. We are going the West way, where the time is measured in terms of money. Like in America, $1 per hour. While we talk about monthly salary, they talk about $1 per hour. So that is the way we are taking now, which is not, very, very optimistic situation.
Yeah. Like, yes, I completely agree to what you said, sir, because this somewhere would affect and impact their mental well-being in long run. And relationships, like you mentioned, companionships, relationships, running parallel threads in that is the only way to keep things intact and, work on your emotions and work on a better mental health, I would say. So yeah, I think that makes it more and more important, to focus on how interactive a relationship can be. Like you mentioned, sir, that there are two threads of companionship. One was with Ritvik and one was between the spouse, and one was somewhere an individual also. Now, moving ahead as parents, how you see, what are your expectations, for Ritvik? What is that you are looking for?
Before we move on to the next question, I just wanted to correct yourself, because he was mentioning that I was handling things on my own. Maybe because I was very young and I had the drive and the strength and the mental courage, so I could move on. And actual companionship begins when we age. And that is when he has stepped in, and I'm so grateful for that. Okay, because now I can always say there's somebody with me who can share my responsibilities. So I wouldn't like him to say that I added him at a later stage, because
Okay.
each one has his own or her own way of life. I
Yeah,
just let him be. And now when I need him most, he's there.
Yeah.
So that is very true. And one more thing I wanted to add is, with Roshan's demise, the trauma was very, very bad, as it will be in any case when their death happens. But in Ritwik's case, Ritwik and Roshan were, they were like uh, so close to each other. And Roshan was his only companion, only friend.
Mhm.
So it became so much so that he had given up his music for 2 years almost. And music is the only thing that he could do. And it was very difficult for me, because being a mother, to handle such a situation is something which only a person who was experienced can say. But then I had no option of, expressing my grief, because even if I would sigh, that will reflect on Ritwik. And Rajan's sensitivity was even more. So then again, I had to go back to my, earlier age, where I had the drive to, push myself into a situation which I don't know whether I would be able to handle. But I think I have successfully handled, and Ritvik has got back to his music. And that's really rewarding for us. Yeah, you can
Anything,
pose a next
yeah,
question.
anything you want to add, sir? Here?
Yeah. Our priority as of date is that Ritvik should be able to communicate, interact with people. He should have friends. He should, should not be all the time depending on us, or we should not be controlling his life. We wouldn't like to control his life. Let him have his freedom, full freedom, and enjoy the life. And of course, he says he's enjoying it. And but there are not many friends who come forward. There are a few who come forward and try to do, but at times,
It's not lasting.
it's not lasting. We have the one or two buddies also, but it doesn't last, because uh, you have to understand that to a person who is having communication difficulties, you have to understand that person. That takes time, and then come down to that person's level to communicate, which is all the more difficult. So as far as parents of Ritvik, we would like Ritvik to develop that ability and have a social circle of his own. And because there are things which, for example, music. There are many people in music. He knows many of them, but none of them are his friends. So we would like him to have that and have his freedom, enjoy his adolescence and youth, and before he comes to physical maturity age. So that is our first dream. The second dream which we are having is that he should excel in his music. He's been bringing happiness to lots and lots of people, and when we find people enjoying his music, we as parents, we find it very, very satisfying.
Yeah, I would like to ask Danish. He was mentioning that it is not the same case where where a person is visually impaired and where a person has visual impairment plus other disabilities. So a big question mark still remains. So what about these people, who are having multiple disabilities? So I would wanted to know whether Danish has any answer for that, because in our own house, Roshan had only visual impairment, so he had enough friends. But in Ritwik's case, he is isolated. He is a loner. So what would you suggest, Danish?
Over
Because
to
we are,
Danish.
yeah.
No, I don't think so. I would have perfect answer, but the एक ही आंसर है इन सभी चीजों का, वो यही है कि society need to be more mature, more sensitized, and from the beginning itself, education system needs to be changed. उसमें disability curriculum को जितनी जल्दी हो सके इंडक्ट करना चाहिए, इवन इफ गवर्नमेंट डू नॉट कम अप विद एटलीस्ट। हमने देखा है कि इवन स्पेशल स्कूल्स भी कोई प्रोग्राम इनिशिएट नहीं करते हैं जिसमें पर्सन्स विद मल्टीपल जो डिसेबल्ड हैं, तो उनके साथ इंटरेक्शन की जाए, उनके साथ बातचीत की जाए, and it is very important for their growth. I can, understand what they want to highlight. I'm totally relating to that. But unfortunately, system or the society or the community, even disabled community, when it comes to persons with multiple disabilities, are not really that supportive. So they could share their, rewarding experience. And so we need to take the call. We need to think about that as a society, as a whole. और जो राजन सर कह रहे थे, उसमें कोई भी डिसेबिलिटी हो, उसमें भी एक चीज है कि कंपेनियनशिप मिल जाती है पर्सन विद विजुअल डिसेबिलिटीज को या लोकोमोटर डिसेबिलिटीज में। लेकिन जो पॉइंट वो बार बार हाईलाइट कर रहे हैं, व्हेन इट कम्स टू मैट्रिमोनी, आपके कितने, वो दे कैन बी योर गुड फ्रेंड्स and you are helping them all the time, or they are helping you all the time. You are very good friends for 20 years, for 25 years. But when it comes to wedding, in most of the cases the same person got vanished. आप दोस्त तो हो सकते हो, लेकिन आप पति पत्नी नहीं हो सकते। ये मुझे समझ नहीं आया कि हम अगर दोस्त हो सकते हैं, so we are friends for 5 years or 10 years. We are going out, we are hanging together, we are eating together, we are dancing together. But हम पति पत्नी नहीं हो सकते। वो that is another level stigma. वो मुझे समझ नहीं आता है। तो जो नटशेल जो मैडम कह रही हैं, उसका तो यही है कि सोसाइटी नीड्स टू ग्रो अप। हमें लेट्स होप कि जो कमिंग जनरेशन है थोड़ा सा पॉजिटिव हूं उनको लेके, दे कम फॉरवर्ड। तो लेकिन इट विल टेक सम टाइम।
That may not help, Ritvik.
Yeah, but
It's a long wait, and it's a very dark.
तो आई थिंक अभी रिसेंटली तो मैडम यही है कि आपको पार्टिसिपेशन करवानी चाहिए उसकी, ऑनलाइन हो या ऑफलाइन हो, गैदरिंग्स में थोड़ा सा उनको जो उसको समझ पाए, जो
ऐसे लोग मिलना चाहिए ना, ऐसे लोग तो मिलना चाहिए।
We are Danish. We are trying our best to put him in such situations, and there
hope
are
for the
people-
best, he'll get soon.
Yeah, that's true. But do you think that a little more stress for the on soft skills for the disabled or especially able people, equip them with full soft skills? Because the communication process of communication, we are taking it for granted. We think that people will develop that ability naturally, right? Do you think that in special schools and in other schools where in integrated or inclusive education, special skills for the specially able people should get extra importance, extra input?
Absolutely yes. I think मैंने पहले ही अपनी पॉइंट में कहा कि अभी जिस तरह का सिनेरियो है, द सिनेरियो वी आर इन राइट नाउ, उसमें मैं ज्यादा एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करता हूँ सोसाइटी से। दैट्स व्हाई आई स्टेप इन। जहां भी मुझे लगता है कि दे आर नॉट कमिंग फॉरवर्ड, आई गो टू देम, आई मॉडिफाई माई सेल्फ अकॉर्डिंग टू देम, वेदर आई लाइक और डिसलाइक, क्योंकि मुझे पता है आई विल बी आइसोलेटेड इफ आई विल नॉट डू दैट। सिनेरियो इज लाइक दैट। बट जो है, आपकी बात है सॉफ्ट स्किल या जो स्पेशल स्कूल्स में, वो तो होना ही चाहिए एब्सोल्युटली। और उनको भी मल्टी डिसेबिलिटी अप्रोच के साथ आगे चढ़ना चाहिए। अभी वो दिख नहीं रहा। एक्चुअली टू बी वेरी फ्रैंक, आई एम वेरी डिसअपॉइंटेड विद द वे स्पेशल स्कूल्स आर बीइंग रन इन इंडिया।
That's true.
Yes.
Very true.
तो बाहर वालों से क्या बोलें, जब अपने यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम है। तो इतनी प्रॉब्लम्स है, कहाँ कहाँ की बात करूं। तो स्पेशल स्कूल्स में आपको ना तो आरपीडी एक्ट पढ़ाया जाता है। आप 20 साल एक स्कूल से, एक स्पेशल स्कूल जहां पे 24 घंटे आप डिसेबल्ड के साथ रहते हैं, डिसेबिलिटी की बात करते हैं, 20 साल के बाद भी आने के बाद आपको आरपीडी एक्ट का आर नहीं पता, और ना ही टीचर्स को, ना ही स्टूडेंट्स को। अनफॉर्चुनेटली आप अगर ब्लाइंड के लिए स्कूल है, आप दूसरे डिसेबिलिटी की बात ही नहीं करते कभी। मैं शर्त लगा के कह सकता हूं, आई कैन बेट, आप किसी भी स्पेशल स्कूल में चले जाओ, एक स्कूल में भी अगर आपको 21 डिसेबिलिटीज का नाम बता दें, तो मेरा नाम बदल देना आप, बिकॉज देयर अप्रोच इज टोटली डिफरेंट। तो करना चाहिए, ये समझ तो उनको आनी चाहिए। अब नहीं आ रही है, हम तो हर जगह बोलते हैं, वो कहते हैं करेंगे, आइदर दे आर टायर्ड अप क्योंकि दे आर रनिंग दोज इंस्टीट्यूट्स, अब वो कुर्सी भी नहीं छोड़ना चाहते और कुछ करना भी नहीं चाहते कि भाई सी आई एक्नॉलेज यू हैव कंट्रीब्यूटेड अ लॉट, देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट दैट, बट अब इट्स अ टाइम, यू नो, टाइम हैज बीन चेंज्ड, तो डायनामिक्स हैज बीन चेंज्ड, नाउ इट्स अ era of technology as Rajan sir said, तो उसमें चेंज लाने की जरूरत है। स्पेशल स्कूल में भी, इंक्लूसिव स्कूल में भी, एजुकेशन सिस्टम से ही सर कुछ होगा, क्योंकि जब तक बच्चा बचपन में होते हैं तब वो सीखते हैं, तो बहुत जल्दी चीजों को अडॉप्ट करते हैं, तो वो लाइफ लॉन्ग चीज चलती है। अब हम 50 ईयर पर्सन से एक्सपेक्ट करें कि वो अब चेंज हो, बड़ा मुश्किल है। मतलब मैं तो अपनी फैमिली को नहीं कर पाया, तो बाहर वालों का तो बड़ा मुश्किल है। तो जो कुछ करना है वो एजुकेशन सिस्टम से ही होगा, मेरा अपना ये मानना है। आई कैन बी रॉन्ग और देयर कैन बी अदर थिंग्स।
No, a simple thing like, if you walk into a special school and the children studying there, they most of them are, they don't present themselves. They are not trained to present themselves well. It will only generate sympathy in you, not
दैट्स द
empathy.
आयरनी, दैट्स द
That's
आयरनी।
irony.
और
And
उसका कारण ये है कि हम लोगों ने टाइम पर बोला नहीं। अब मैं बोलता हूं तो मुझे बाद में बुलाता कोई नहीं, मैं कहा ठीक है मत बुलाओ, लेकिन हर किसी को डर है, पता नहीं बाद में अगर कभी जरूरत पड़ी। अरे भाई जो गलत है ना, सी वी आर नॉट अगेंस्ट एनीथिंग, वी आर, हम तो आपसे ही कह रहे हैं भाई, मैं आपका स्कूल नहीं टेक ओवर करने आ रहा, मैं कह रहा हूँ प्लीज डू द सिस्टमेटिक चेंजेस विच विल हेल्प द पर्सन हु आर स्टडिंग देयर इन योर स्कूल, उनको ही फायदा होगा और आपको ही होगा। तो unfortunately they are not ready for the change, but that change needs to come as soon as possible, otherwise जहां हम खड़े हैं 20 साल बाद भी वहीं खड़े रहेंगे।
But it can happen at the parents' level. For example, Lata is so particular, both Roshan and Ritvik should dress up very well, present themselves very well on any occasion, right? When
Yes,
Ritvik was teaching in Delhi Public School, he was considered as the best dressed teacher of the school.
बिल्कुल, yes.
Yeah, so it's a responsibility which parents can undertake.
Yeah. I think love this conversation going into so many different topics, and that also kind of highlights that there is so much to work upon while there's already a lot of work happening. Like ma'am said that at present what can be done best, and like Danish mentioned, he's trying to do as much as he can. Before I take the closing thoughts from three of you, Danish, if you can quickly highlight about the event you are having about companionship, if you can just brief us about that, and then we go ahead and take the closing notes from everybody.
नहीं, कोई इवेंट होता ही नहीं है कंपेनियनशिप के बिना, तो हर इवेंट में कंपेनियनशिप तो होती ही है। तो ऐसा कोई भी दुनिया में इवेंट नहीं है जिसमें कंपेनियनशिप ना हो, तो हर इवेंट में हम कंपेनियनशिप को साथ लेके चलते हैं। और फ्रेंडशिप डे पे भी हमारे स्पेशल शोज आ रहे हैं, गैदरिंग्स, हम मैट्रिमोनी मीट करवा रहे हैं रिसेंटली, और कन्वेंशंस हम करवाते हैं। तो ये है, मैं क्लोजिंग में तो यही कहना चाहता हूँ कि यार अच्छे लोग हैं हम भी, जो मेन स्ट्रीम लोग सुन रहे हैं, तो आओ आगे हाथ बढ़ाओ, हम भी, वी कैन मेक यू डांस, वी कैन मेक यू लाफ, वी कैन पार्टिसिपेट इन योर कन्वर्सेशन, एंड there is a lot of things to take from you and to give it back to you. So don't judge a book from their cover page, यही कहते हैं ना।
Yeah.
तो हाँ, तो यहाँ होल लॉट ऑफ बुक अभी पड़ी है, तो आप आगे आओ, और कन्वर्सेशन करना बहुत जरूरी है। बहुत सारे एवेन्यूज हैं और हर डिसेबल्ड की अलग नीड है। स्पेंड सम टाइम, अंडरस्टैंड। और हम ये नहीं कहते आप जबरदस्ती दोस्त बनो, इफ यू डोंट लाइक अस, ठीक है, विल फाइंड समबडी एल्स, बट हमें देख के ही इग्नोर कर दो तो वो तो फिर बात बनेगी नहीं ना। तो और कोई भी सोसाइटी, कोई भी कम्युनिटी वो प्रोस्परस नहीं होगी। और ये डिसेबिलिटी एक ऐसी चीज है, आपकी लाइफ की एक ना एक स्टेज में तो आपको यहां से गुजरना है, चाहे वेदर यू लाइक वेदर यू डिसलाइक, बट दैट्स द रियलिटी। तो देन यू विल रिग्रेट, यार आज मैं हूं तो मैं क्या समझता था और ये क्या है। तो बी empathetic, be mature. We are not asking for the charity, we are asking for the opportunity as always. So a lot of मेरे जो बहुत दोस्त हैं, जब मेरे ऑफिस वाले, आप यकीन मानिए, अब तो वो, अब मेरे को कभी छुट्टी भी लेनी होती है तो वो छुट्टी इसलिए नहीं देते कि हम बोर हो जाएंगे। तो बट एट द सेम टाइम कि आई कैन नॉट बी परफॉर्मर ऑल द टाइम, है ना। तो ठीक है, सोसाइटी, मेरे को लगता है कि पार्टिसिपेशन बहुत जरूरी है, और थिंग्स विल बी बेटर इन कमिंग फ्यूचर।
Rajan sir and ma'am, your closing thoughts and how you see the whole companionship building up.
Well, we are trying our best, and we are just hoping that Ritvik will be safe and secure in future, because we don't know how far he'll be able to communicate and seek help. So we are just trying to develop his basic living skills and help him find a way using his intelligence, and have a friend or a companion who is trustworthy to help him carry on with his life successfully and progress in his musical journey as he is doing now. So if that happens, that is sufficient, because we can't expect miracles. Let's hope that things will work for him.
We are doing a number of things. One is that we are very closely monitoring Ritvik's progress in communication, in interaction, and his social relationships. The interest being shown and how he's developing and things like that. We are very closely watching that. There are many nuances in communication which we pick up every day. We discuss with each other, say that, okay, there is this progress here in this, especially concept development, where he's talking about a concept which is very rare. So other than music, not many concepts were there. And from our side, we try to set up an example of companionship between us, myself and Lata. I mean, if you have any point of disagreement, then we talk it in private, not in public, so that there is always a harmony at home, right? In which Ritik is growing and he finds safety there, right? And as I said, we are very closely watching, but we feel that the trust between the parents and the child is to be built right from childhood, early childhood, so that the child, when a child passing through adolescence, child has the confidence to come and share the experiences. Very often it doesn't happen. The parents, at that time, parents are not, the children don't divulge anything to the parents. They are seeking friendship elsewhere. So that has to be built by the parents right from early as possible. I mean, the relationship between a parent and the child can be that of friendship, not that of a father and mother, and you order around, you control. All those things have to disappear. Yeah, it is generally happening in most of the places. So parents have to practice hand-holding, guiding, be patient. And our patience is, I'm sure it is increasing day by day now. Both of us, our patience with each other and patience between Ritvik and us. And we have learned to accept a number of things, because, I mean, every parent will have some kind of a design in mind that my child should be like this, etc. Desire also. We don't decide for Ritvik. We let him be, and we encourage his growth, support him as much as possible, and we are always looking to increase our, the trust he has in us. We don't want to belie that. So that is our present situation. hopefully it will work. We are finding progress, but very slow, but we are willing to wait. Yeah.
Yeah, and there is a lot of role plays happening. So I find that that really helps, because when you reach a situation, we don't know what is in store there and how he will interrupt those situations and how he'll react. So I try to do role plays of different persons, different areas of operation, different situations, and I think that is helping him understand the
Yes.
various situations that he is confronted with at any time. And he's showing a lot of progress.
It's such a positive thing to hear that you have been constantly working upon him, working with him, and trying out different ways and always looking at the brighter side, and the how he is progressing and what progress you see in him from the last time. I think that is commendable, and that is why we say that your journeys are inspiring for us. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you so much, Tejal, for being so patient and kind and the support we needed as a sign language interpreter. Thank you, Danish. Thank you, Rajan sir and Snehlata ma'am, for giving your time for talking about something which is so important right now. And as we were discussing, before going live, that August is about friendship. It is truly the time, you can buddy up, uh, reach out to people, support your friends, interact with them socially in whichever way it is possible, connect and make deeper connections for life, and you will see that the issues which we have been talking would kind of get sorted in a way in the personal interaction level, and we'll see that people are communicating and interacting, and eventually that will help our young adults as well. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. And
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for hosting this wonderful discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
our
Danish.
pleasure. And yes, to the audience, please stay tuned. We'll be having more conversations on companionship and other topics. And thank you so much for all the support you have shown. See you. Stay tuned for the next Talk to This series. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.